Netflix drops 11% today afterwards. Went down 11% in the pre-market, down 7% today. Is this the end of Netflix after they released their quarter one earnings? So today's episode, we're going to go exactly through it and see if this is a buy signal for Netflix. What's going on? What caused that drop? And is that an opportunity for investors? But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and make sure hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit that like, comment, and share button. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in church of all ages, you are now tuned into the Investor Show. As always, this is your gracious host, the Prince of Investing, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys and girls live all the way from the beautiful city and state of Denver, Colorado. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. And as always, I don't have a lot of time, and I definitely know you guys and girls don't have a lot of time, so we're going to jump straight into it. So today's episode, yes, you can see on the screen, Netflix drops 11% and the pre-market is down currently at this recording 7% after its quarter one earnings were released yesterday afternoon. Now, this episode, we're going to talk about what caused that drop and is it a buying opportunity for investors. Now, the first thing up, you always hear is churn. What is churn? Churn is always talked about when you hear something like, especially Netflix, any company that is subscriber-based driven. So how many subscribers are you losing? So one thing I never liked about Netflix is that people always base their growth on how many more subscribers could they get. And I didn't, I was like, how far can Netflix is a pretty big global brand. I'm like, how many more subscribers can they get? How many people don't have Netflix? How much can we grow? So you always hear churn. Did they meet their expectation? Are they growing? People always want to see they're growing if they are growing. So you always will see that in their financial report. So here, why this is very important is their churn actually, they slowed in subscriber growth compared to their forecast. So they forecast every quarter how many more subscribers they're going to have, because that's the way they make their money. And they're saying, hey, they had a decrease. So right here, what you're seeing right here, you're seeing slowing subscriber growth. And this is contributed to, you can watch Netflix. One good thing that they do, shout out to Netflix for this, is they go out and they, Netflix goes out and, one good thing they do, I hit the wrong sound effects there. One good thing they do is is they broadcast on YouTube their earnings report. So you can see their CEO talk about their quarterly earnings, all the good stuff like that. Now, he said, hey, you always will see in this quarterly earnings, you will see pullback. Let's go ahead and share my screen here. You always hear them talk about pullback, and it makes you think, well, why do these people keep talking about pullback? What is pullback about? So when you always hear them talk about their pullback, I'm pulling up their quarterly earnings right here. Right here, what they say is revenue grew 24% year over year and was within line with the beginning quarter forecast, while operating expense reached an all-time high. The quarter one with they have 208 paid members, up 14% year over year, but it is below the guidance for 210. They are 2 million below their forecasted subscriber. We believe our paid subscription growth was due to the big COVID-19 pull forward. I'm sorry, I said pull back, but it's the pull forward. So what they had was Netflix had already suspected that they had already said, hey, we're going to have this many subscribers by this time every quarter. They had forecasted that out. But what ended up happening was when COVID came through last year, they saw a huge surge in subscriber growth in the beginning of COVID. I guess more people was at home, more people watched Netflix or whatever it was. But with that huge pull forward, that threw off their quarter to quarter growth. They're like, okay, well, we got this big push already. How can we continue to keep this pace going? Which they said last year in their quarterly earnings, like, hey, we can't continue to have this pace going. And this is, now they are saying it. Now, here's the key. Now that they already said we had this big pull forward, why is everybody holding them to the judge now and start selling their stock? So this is what keys in buying opportunities. When you see they had already projected, hey, we had this huge pull forward that we experienced in 2020 because of COVID-19. Now you are selling our stock off because we already told you what was going to happen. We couldn't keep this pace up. This pace was pushed forward by economical healthcare crisis that turned into a pandemic, right? So that's the first thing. So people are selling the stock because they're saying slow subscriber growth, but they're telling you right here it was due to this huge pull forward that they had in 2020 that they already had projected. Now, the next thing you always see the next thing I want to hit on is content. So content, they always talk about their content and production. Their content and production was slowed down due to COVID. A lot of their big features they didn't release. They spoke about here. The big features they didn't get a chance to release because they had stopped production. Due to COVID, they had to stop production, slow down production, or whatever. So they slowed down their production due to COVID-19 restrictions. So they're saying that, hey, now that we're getting through this, we're getting the vaccinations, we're getting our big productions that are going to come out later on this year. But we believe that our content, we had to slow down on some of the big productions that we had, because Netflix does their own originals, that we couldn't create them because of restrictions in travel, restrictions in health crisis, all of the good stuff like that. So they did have a slow in content production. Now the next thing they spoke about was, drum roll here, is one thing I was concerned. I'm not going to lie. They had their I'm going to get to that one next. That's my next one. But they did have a net ads decline. So they kind of spoke about that here in their shareholders report. I think it was the next one down, where they kind of broke down their net. They had net ads. People saw, here we go, the global paid net ads by quarter and forecasted in actual. So they seen what they had forecasted. They saw a little decline, and a lot of that is due to you looking all the way here to 2021. You seeing a big decline in quarter one. But guess what? A lot of companies, you're even seeing that with YouTube and things like that, where companies are not putting up as much money to advertise as they used to due to COVID restrictions. Some companies go out of business. Some companies have scaled back, things like that. So when companies are not spending much money on marketing and advertising, then their net ads are going to decline anyway. That's what I looked at as well. Now they addressed that a little bit, and they said they're not really concerned about, because a big thing that people are concerned about is that, hey, once when the pandemic eases up, are y'all going to see a decline in people, unsubscribing and not watching your content as much? And he says no, because they've seen people recover already in other countries. They've seen other countries already recover, and they've seen the response they've had on that. So they're saying when America opens back up, they don't see any big responses to being back to COVID-19. Now, when I saw this slow in subscriber, let me tell you what I thought. And I'm going to hit on it right here. Here's not the content, but the competition. I thought, you know what? The competition has finally hit. Netflix, because that space has gotten very crowded. That's why I wasn't a big investor into it, because now you got Disney Plus, you got Hulu, you got XYZ or whatever, right? But we're going to go here. I'm going to share my screen here, and you're going to hear the CEO say something very profound. As soon as I got it drummed up here. I should have had it hopefully y'all can hear this. For the people that are catching me live, let me know if y'all can hear this. But if y'all can hear it, I will repeat it for you. This is straight off of YouTube. Let me go right here to my mark. This is straight off of YouTube, off the earnings call that they published. And the CEO says something very profound. Let me blow this up. I said blow it up all the way. There we go. Here we go.
In terms of what we focus on, it's the same things that we've always focused on, which is our member satisfaction drives retention and word of mouth, and drives our growth. So it's, where can we find the story that you talk about even more, that you with over 100 million starters and
1 second here. I think I missed my spot there. Here we go.
You seem to be coexisting really well.
Here it is.
Thank you.
TV viewing time.
Here it is.
Linear TV. Our second largest is YouTube, which is considerably larger than Netflix in viewing time. And Disney's considerably.
There you heard it right there, right? That's a very key piece that I kind of never looked at with Netflix, that I kind of made the wrong assumption. I always thought the competition for Netflix would be Hulu and Disney and ESPN, HBO, Prime, all those stuff like that. And they said, no, our number one competitor is linear TV when it comes down to watch time. So they're saying regular TV is our number one competitor. And you have something like YouTube, which is the highest watch time, better. YouTube has more watch time than Netflix. So what it's saying that as linear TV, as its progression, so their number one competitor is going out of style, pretty much what they're saying. They're saying our number one competitor is linear TV, it's regular TV. And guess what? Over time, linear TV is going down, streaming is going up. So they're saying, hey, our number one competitor, which is linear TV, is still going down, and everybody is going to streaming. So we're on the right side of everything. So now they said our second, the number one after linear, guess who had the most watch time? YouTube. YouTube has more watch time, has the second largest watch time across the globe. So what does that let you know? Who owns YouTube? Google. So their competition, they're already in their letter letting you know, hey, YouTube is killing the game when it comes down to watch time already. So that's a hint. That's a gem already for when Google has its quarterly earnings. So that was the hint right there. But anyway, would I buy it? Yes, me personally, I placed a short-term call option on Netflix due to the fact of I think this was an oversell, overreaction to a 2 million subscriber growth. And I think that by the summertime, we'll forgot about this. So I think that Netflix was at $540, almost $550. Now it's at almost $500. I jumped in and got me a call right about that 510 area. I'm looking at hopefully selling that in the next month or two, about a summertime when everybody has forgotten about this. So yes, I do look at this as a buy opportunity when you see a 10, 7, 8, 11% drop when the market overreacts to information that's already was done. When you look at the long term, they're telling you linear TV is our number one competitor. YouTube, I don't think is going anywhere anytime soon. But if the number one competitor is going out of style and streaming is going up, Netflix is in a good position for growth into the future. They're already a profitable company. They're one of the biggest names out there. But I thought their number one competitor was Disney. I thought their number one competitor was ESPN. They said, no, it's regular TV, and regular TV is slowly on a decline. So our number one competitor is slowly dying. So I do like that. So yes. Anyway, that's going to conclude today's episode. I'm going to go in here and see what y'all are saying in the comments, and then I'm going to roll out of here. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Y'all said y'all had no sound. They said the sound was going in and out. I'm sorry about that. I really, I kind of explained what the CEO was saying, but I hated that. I hated that fact. I got to fix that. So I thought that was going to bleed into it, that y'all can hear it as well, loud and clear, but I fixed that. I truly apologize about that. All right. Nana Power said, where do you find the report, Prince? You go to any company, Nana Powers. Shout out to Ms. Nana Powers, been holding it down, representing the show. Anytime you want to do this, any company you want to do, you go to Google. If you're looking for Google, you type in Google. You go to Google, you type in Google Investor Relations. So Netflix, you go to Netflix Investor Relations. Apple Investor Relations. Amazon Investor Relations. When you go to Investor Relations, it's going to take you directly to their website with all the reports. Or you can go to sec.gov. That's Sierra Echo Charlie for my military people out there, .gov. And that would take you directly to the and you can type in Netflix and you can read their financial reports right out of there. I'm sorry y'all cannot hear that. I'm truly sorry. I'm going to fix that next time. Yeah, I see Lucky's mom said that the video had no sound. Everybody said he couldn't hear, still couldn't hear. Truly apologize about that. LK Raw, you're right. That's exactly what I did, LK Raw. So I'm sorry. So that was pretty much a breakdown of the CEO telling you who their number one competitors are, and they were just explaining the subscriber growth. So sorry about that. I didn't hear that. And also, if you want that video is right here on YouTube. They stream their live earnings call straight into where people can see their CEOs and executives speak. That's right here on YouTube at Netflix Quarterly Earnings. If you want to hear that video, it's about 40 minutes long. I heard the whole thing, but I pretty much summed the majority of it right here. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope y'all got something out of this episode. Until the next video, podcast, cartoon, or whatever else crazy you see me do around the globe, peace, be safe. I'm out, and thank you.